Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at these questions. So here, just to find slope, so I'm going 1 minus 2 divided by 3 minus 2. So I get negative 1 over 1, which is negative 1. Okay. Slope of the line here, so 5 minus 2 over 0 minus a negative 1. So then I get 3 over 1, which is 3. Find the slope of the line. Here, all I want to do is I just want to count. So from one point here to the point here. So I go up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. So that slope is 3. Direct variation. So what I want to do is I want to solve for, remember, direct variation is y is equal to kx. So I first need to solve for k using the given information. So 8 is equal to k times negative 4, divide both sides by negative 4, and I get k is equal to negative 2. So then my equation for direct variation is y is equal to negative 2x. So that's part 1. Part 2 is to figure out what happens when x is equal to 7. So then I plug in 7 in for my x, and I get negative 14. And so that's the second part of my answer. Okay. Same thing here. Y is equal to kx. So 3 is equal to k times 9. Divide both sides by 9. So I get k is equal to 1/3. So then y is equal to 1/3 x. And then I want to know what happens when it is 0. I'm sorry, not when it's 0, when it's 7. So I plug in 7 and I get 7/3. And I do want them in proper fractions, no decimals, definitely no mixed numbers. Okay. For the data below, tell whether or not the y varies directly with the x. If it does, then write the equation for direct variation. Well, the one thing with direct variation, and I kept stressing this in class, is that when you have y is equal to kx, it looks like y equals mx plus b. The only difference is that this b must be equal to 0 for it to specifically be direct variation. So what I would do, and I do this, I try to think about like how I can combine topics together in a way to not have to memorize anything or to have to remember less. Because a lot about math, you're like, oh, I just don't remember. So I'm very familiar with y equals mx plus b. So first thing I want to do is I just want to check out slopes, between the lines. And then what I want to do is verify that in order for it to be direct variation, I want to verify that that b is actually equal to 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the slope. So 3 minus a negative 6 over 2 minus a negative 1. So this gives me 9 over, too many negatives, 9 over 3, which is 3. Then I go 12 minus 3 over 5 minus 2. So then I get 9 over 3 again, which is also 3. And then I get 24 minus 12 over 9 minus 5. So that's 12 over 4, which is also 3. Okay, so they all have the same slope. To verify, there's a couple ways you could verify, whether or not it's direct variation. I could plug it into y equals kx and then test a coordinate point to see if the left side is equal to the right side. Or what I can do is I can plug it into y equals mx plus b or point slope form and change it and then make sure that the b value is 0. So if I use y minus a negative 6 is equal to 3 times x minus a negative 1. When I simplify this, y plus 6 is equal to 3x plus 3, because you have to distribute your 3. Minus 6, so y is equal to 3x minus 3. So this is not direct variation. Because just because they have the constant k, that value there makes it not direct variation. The only direct variation forms are when the b value is 0. Okay. You'll do the same thing for 12. Okay, so 13, write the equation in slope-intercept form that passes through the points. So remember, I can do all the equations. So 4 minus 4 over, maybe I don't want to do all the forms. Y minus 1 minus a negative 3, so I get 0 over 4, which is 0. So anytime you have a slope of 0, remember that that is a horizontal line. Anytime you have undefined slope, you have a vertical line. And remember, undefined slope is just like x equals whatever the number is in the coordinate. And if it's a horizontal, it's just y equals whatever. So in this case, what's my y value? My y value is 4, so my equation is just y equals 4. Okay? If it was undefined slope, it would have been like x is equal to negative 3, or it would have been x is equal to 1. There would have only been one x value, though. Okay, so write the equation of this line. Those look like my coordinate points. So up 1, 2, and then over 1, 2, 3. So 2/3 is my slope. And my y-intercept is a 1, so y is equal to 2/3 x plus 1. I didn't tell you what form to write it in, so I could write it in slope-intercept form if that's easier. Okay, so I want to graph. There's negative 3. I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. And remember, I do want you guys to label some of your points. Okay. Remember, that's a horizontal line at 2. Graph the equation here in point slope form. So remember that the values are kind of switched. So my point is actually 1 comma a negative 3, and this is my slope. So 1 and negative 3, and then I go up 2 over 1. Okay, don't forget that when you graph the equation in standard form, that I want your x-intercept and I want your y-intercept. So you have to set y equal to 0 or set x equal to 0, and in this case solve for y, and in this case solve for x. And remember that these are also written as coordinate points. Don't write them as just one value. They are a coordinate point. Okay. Moving right along here, parallel. So it's already in slope-intercept form. So this is the slope of the parallel line. Here's my coordinate point. So y minus a negative 1 is equal to 5 times x minus 2. So y plus 1 is equal to 5 times x minus 2. And I didn't tell you what form to put it in, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so to tell whether or not two equations are parallel, perpendicular, or neither, what you want to do is I would change them into slope-intercept form. So negative 3y is equal to, here, we'll do this. Subtract 18x, so negative 3y is equal to negative 18x plus 15. Divide both sides by negative 3, so I divide everybody by negative 3. So I get y is equal to 6x minus 5. Okay, so same slope, so they are parallel. Remember, opposite reciprocal means the fractions are flipped, and one of them's negative and one of them's positive. Okay, so perpendicular. Nice for me, it's already in slope-intercept form. If it's not in slope-intercept form, you have to put it in slope-intercept form first to identify the slope. Okay, so opposite reciprocal, so y minus 5 is equal to opposite reciprocal. So it's going to be a positive 1/3. And then x minus 3. All right, and that's it for the review.